Happy Monday. I apologise for being 9 minutes late for those of you who actually do watch me live, which basically is nobody. At least not now. Well, we'll sure. We'll improve this at some point in the future. But for now, midday-ish Monday mindset mastery is the key. So here we are. Anyway, today we're going to be talking about how not to beat yourself up, or stop beating yourself up, which is what I actually put in the chat. Excuse me for just 1 second. I just need to clean my camera. I can turn my camera around to make it blank. Is that going to work? Yeah, there we go. So it doesn't look quite so horrible when I just do that, and then there we go. That's a bit better. Hello, how are you doing? Happy Monday, happy birthday, welcome to the first day of the rest of your life. You know what that's like. So, I was talking this morning on my, at 9:30 every Monday, either way, I do a Rebel Journal live session, about basically planning your week ahead, and I use my Create Happy Journal as and I use the blank pages in the back to plan the things that I'm going to do, and then we pick like the top 3 things that we want to do, which is what you put on this part of the journal here, and then obviously the next day you then put down the fact that you did these things in the next column over here to say I did these things, and we celebrate those, and then that makes us feel good about having done things, and then we set ourselves targets for the next day, which then reinforces the fact that when we say we're going to do something, we actually do it, and then we feel a good sense of success and achievement when we actually achieve the things that we do, or we say we're going to do, rather. So I do that at 9:30 in the Rebellious Business Network. If you're interested in joining that, let me know. I did put a link in the what are you going to get done this week session, although I am an affiliate. So let them know if you do join, especially if you pay any money to them, to Cordelia and Caroline, who I have mentioned on here a couple of times in the past. Just let me know. Yes, exactly. That'd be great. Let them know that you came through me. That'd be great. Yes, so today I was talking about, hello viewer, by the way, it's nice to have a viewer on here, that's good. So today I was talking about how when you set yourself a goal, and then you don't achieve the goal, the tendency is to chastise yourself and to beat yourself up, and to kind of be harsh on yourself about the fact that you didn't do the thing that you said you were going to do. And I'd like to suggest that you don't do that. You take a second to, I wish I'd done that. But then you reframe it immediately. And then you immediately twist it into, okay, but it doesn't matter because I've already, the thing that I said I was going to do by this time, I've already not done it. So it doesn't matter. It's in the past. It's gone. It's finished. And this applies to anything in life as well. Anything in your past which you regret, or you wish you hadn't done, or something like that, nothing you can do about it now. All you can do is control the future, which might be apologizing for something that happened in the past, or apologizing to yourself for something that you did in the past, or something like that. So, or if it's something that you wish you'd done, you've now got the opportunity to do that. So, I put on my bucket list in 2016 that I wanted to go to Bali. It's 2025. I still haven't been to Bali. It's going to be like 10 years since I said I was going to go to Bali next year. If funding and finances work out okay, I'm hoping I'll actually get to go to Bali later this year. I'm not kind of beating myself up about the fact that I haven't been yet, but it's a bit of a regret that I didn't make the effort. I didn't put together, because 10 years, if I'd been putting £10 a month into a savings fund for Bali and hadn't touched it and hadn't used it for anything else, God knows how much. Maybe per month is £10 per month isn't enough, but that would have been what, £100 a year over the course of 10 years. Oh yeah, nearly £1,000. So yeah, actually £10 a month would have worked. Would have been a good old £1,000 that's just sitting there now, which would be my Bali fund. And so maybe after 10 years it would have been. So there you go. There is an example of how initially my brain initially thought £10 a month wouldn't be enough to get me to go to Bali. And sure, it won't be in a year because you'll only get £100, but over 10 years, that becomes 1,000 because it's 10 lots of 100. And actually it'd be 1,200, wouldn't it? Because it's £120 a year, £10 a month. So actually it's £1,200. So you've got a bit of spending money there as well. So yeah, there you go. That is an example of how my brain said, oh, £10 a month won't be enough. And so I didn't do it. And then 10 years down the line, the effect of it, which would have been minimal and wouldn't have really affected anything I did, would have been effective if I'd only done it. But I didn't do it. So I can't regret it now. There's no point in beating myself up about having not done it, because it's past. I can't do anything about it. There's nothing I can change about the past. All I can do is control the future. So, for example, I can start putting £10 a month now into my Bali fund to make sure that I do go to Bali in 10 years' time, in 2036. I've got enough money to go and do that. Even if I haven't got enough money in the short term to go, because I'll have built up my long-term plan to make sure that I go in the next 10 years. That's me looking back at my past, looking at the thing that I regretted doing, the thing that I wish I had done, and then creating my future past. So in the future, 10 years from now, I don't want to be looking back and saying, I wish I'd put £10 a month in 10 years ago, because then I'd have £1,200 to go to Bali in right now. But I can affect that now by putting £10 there. I can change my past. Not that past. I can change this past. The past that hasn't happened yet. The past that's in my future. The future past, which is what I've talked about in the past a few times in the past. In my past. I have talked about my future past. And how we have quite a lot of influence over we have a lot of influence over the next 3 minutes. What am I going to talk about in the next 3 minutes? I have a lot of influence over that. Nobody can disturb me. Nobody's going to get in the way. My phone can ring. I can ignore it. Somebody can knock on the door. I can ignore it. I can just say, right, the next 3 minutes, I have complete control over the next 5 minutes. I have less control over the next 30 minutes because somebody might phone me like every minute. It's like a really urgent thing. I'm going to have to answer that really urgent phone call. I have to deal with that. So I have less control over that 30 minutes. But I could also just ignore it for 30 minutes. Nothing can not wait for 30 minutes. I have even less control of the next 3 hours. 3 hours, ooh, yeah. There are things that could happen. What's going to happen in the next 3 hours? I have lunch in the next 3 hours. So a lot of things could happen in the next 3 hours. And you start thinking about the next 3 days. Okay, so lots of stuff could happen in the next 3 days. When I ever say, happy birthday, welcome to the first day of the rest of your life, there's always a chance. I mean, unlikely, admittedly, but there's always a chance. There's a chance that you might not wake up tomorrow morning, because you don't know. You don't know what might happen. Asteroid might land on my house overnight tonight. I'm not wishing for that. I'm not trying to sort of put it down to the universe as it's something that I hope would happen. Obviously, please don't happen. Universe doesn't understand knots and negatives. So my house will be nice and safe, and I will wake up securely tomorrow morning. See, that's a positive spin on that. That's not a not. I don't want something to happen. This is what I do want to happen. I want to wake up safe in my bed tomorrow morning, happily. There you go. But you never know. You never know. Things can happen. So I have less control over the next 3 days. The next 3 weeks, even less control. Next 3 months, even less control. Next 3 years, much less control. Much less control. The next 30 years, blimey. How old am I going to be in 30 years' time? Quite old. Older than my dad. There you go. Dad's still here, just next door. Anyway, the point being, no point in beating yourself up about something in the past that you can't do anything about. You can regret it for a moment. You can think about how I wish I had done it. You can think about how I can deal with that situation. So if it's an apology to somebody else, for example, you can go and apologise to the person. If it's something that potentially you might have to apologise for in the future, you can just imagine, how am I going to apologise for that in the future? I know I've made some poor choices in my past, which if I ever got famous, might come back and bite me if I ended up on television, for example. Some of my little skeletons from my past might come out and then might not look good in front of the world. And I would just have to apologise and just say, look, it's my past. I made some poor choices. I wish I hadn't done them. Didn't do anything actually illegal. Edges of legality, maybe. Who knows? Morally dodgy, maybe. But they happened. I can't do anything about it now. I was in a bad place. I was struggling with depression and anxiety. I was making bad choices based on desperation to a certain extent. but I can't do anything about it now. I can't change it. It happened. You know, these things happen. All I can do now is apologise and say, look, I'm sorry, things happened. That's life. And actually, if I ever did get famous, and this is a really good little therapy session I'm doing here, if I ever did get famous in the future and that happened, that would be a really good lesson for me to tell to the world about how you can't change your past. And all you can do is apologise for it and move on and make things better in the future. Be better in the future. And actually, this is a really, really good lesson for politicians in this respect. Hold your core values. And of course, watch American Republican voters who are like Trump supportive people, for example, who have said one thing in the past. I saw a beautiful thing about Marco Rubio, who is the current Secretary of State for America, basically saying that Trump would be an absolute disaster for the USA if he ever got president again. And that he would, enact all these things, and he doesn't care about anybody, and he only cares about himself. I can't remember what all the things was, but everything I was listening to, I was thinking to myself, yeah, and all of that has happened, and you're still working for him, and now you are providing cover for him. So having said he would be an utter disaster for the world in the past, you're now working for him. You are now enabling him. So that's not good. That's not great. So... But he could now apologise and say, look, I'm going to stick up for my principles, and I'm not going to go and work for him. I'm not going to take that top job. Or conversely, you could say, I didn't believe in everything that he was going to do. I'm going to try and manage that from inside the house. That's also a position you could take, assuming you can, of course. And if you can't, then that's a different thing entirely. Anyway, the point being is that Boris Johnson, classic example. Am I a fan? I don't know. Not really relevant to the story anyway. Point was, he did the whole Partygate thing in the UK, and he was accused of having these parties, these illegal parties, and breaking his own rules about lockdown and all that kind of stuff. And instead of saying, yeah, we made some mistakes and I'm sorry about it and shouldn't have happened, we won't do it again. We didn't realize at the time we were actually breaking the rules, but now we can see how it looks from the outside, and it doesn't look good, and we tried to do the right thing, but actually we didn't end up doing the right thing, and really, really sorry, it was silly, we won't do it again. Probably would have got away with that, probably would have been okay. I mean, the left still would have hated it, and Labour still would have had a go at him about it, but his supporters would have gone, okay, and his semi-supporters, who were like, his Conservative voters, probably would have gone, it's all right. And he might have broken the rules, but he didn't try and cover it up. But if he does, but what actually happened is he tried to cover it up. He tried to cover it up. He lied about it. He said he didn't know about them, and then it was proved that he did know about them, and then it proved that so he was caught out by his own lies, and that's basically what did for him in the end. If he'd been honest and upfront and apologised and moved forward and tried to be better in the future, he'd have got away with it. I'm sure of it. Maybe not. Who knows? Possible to know now in hindsight, but that's the point. Is he didn't accept responsibility for the things that have happened in the past and admit it and apologise for it. Not always necessary to admit it. You could say, it depends on what it is. You might not want to admit it. I mean, for example, if you had actually done something illegal that would lead to you ending up in jail, under lawyers, you might not want to admit that you did it, depending on the circumstances, obviously. You might want to try and get away with it in those circumstances and situations. I'm not condoning that. I'm just saying it's life, isn't it? That's just how it is. If you've done something that you regret that possibly was illegal, that wasn't like horrible. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about here. Admit it, move on, apologise, be better in the future. So, don't beat yourself up about it. So this is you looking back in your past, and don't beat yourself up about the stuff that's happened in the past. The things you didn't do, doesn't matter. You have influence over your future past. You have influence over the future. What's going to happen in the future? You can choose how you want your life to be going forward. So make sure that you take control over that, over the bit moving forward and the future and the people you're around. If you have to apologise for something, apologise for something. If you have to apologise for something in the past, apologise for something in the past. If you apologise to yourself for having beaten yourself up in the past, you go ahead and do that. But the whole idea here is to not hold that pain and that suffering inside yourself and not allow that to drag you down. Don't allow that spiral, that negative downward spiral, to bring depression and anxiety in the future. You can choose to take control of your future, the rest of your life. You have control over the rest of your life. Take control. Choose to take control. Don't choose to sit in the past, regretting your past, being miserable about your past, worrying about your past. You can't do anything about it. It's gone. It's finished. It's over. It's done. Move forward. Take control of the future. The thing that you have control over. Do that. So there you go. That's me saying, do not beat yourself up. You do not need to beat yourself up. Take care of yourself. Take care of your heart. Love yourself a bit more. Do a little breathing exercise now with me. Ready? 5 in, 3 in nose. Calm down. I'm a bit hyped up, as you can probably tell. Take a deep breath now with me. 5 in, 3 in nose. Right hand on your heart. Hold your breath. Light your candles on your left hand. 5 candles on your left hand. Blow them out. Feel the breath on the ends of your fingers. 5 in, 3 in nose. Hand on your heart. I've started to get a little bit dizzy there. That's the perfect thing. That's exactly what you want to feel. You want to feel that oxygen filling your lungs, the carbon dioxide getting out, the oxygen getting in, blood, oxygen rush to your head, makes you feel a little bit more alive. It gives you a little bit of a hit of adrenaline. What is it? A little bit of a hit anyway. An oxygen hit, a rush of blood to the head, you could say. And then when you do it again, do it again. And you can use these 5. What's something that you've achieved? What's something that you that's made you, what's something that's made you smile? What's something that you've achieved? What's something you're grateful for? And what is something you are going to do? And then send somebody love. Send somebody some love. Create some love for somebody in the future. Love them. Just like I am sending some love to you. Yeah, I've got a bit of a sore, infected finger, by the way. So in case you're wondering about what's going on there, it's just covered in zinc cream at the moment to try and heal it. It's actually feeling better since the zinc in it. Hopefully it'll all be healed by this time next week. We'll see. I'm not sure what happened there, but it is what it is. Again, it is what it is. Don't really care about it. It is. Doesn't matter. Just working on the future. I'm doing the stuff to try and make it better in the future. Yeah, see how this applies to everything. And the same thing would apply for your cube. If you ever mixed up your cube, you've got a cube. Oops, that's my alarm timer, which is still on. Do you want one of these? Little timer? I use this for 25-minute timer, 10-minute and 25 minutes. There's a whole bunch of other numbers on here as well, but I've only highlighted the ones I use on a regular basis. If you want one of these, findyourfire.co.uk/block timer or cube timer or timer block. I think they all work. Pomodoro also will work. They all take you to the same place. So, but if you've got a cube, this is like, remember how I said about how you can really worry about how you've messed things up in the past, and you think, oh God, how have I messed this all up in the past? And you think, I don't know how to fix it. I don't know what to do. Don't have to regret about it. You just learn how to fix it in the future. You've got a course. findyourfire.co.uk/solve the cube. If you've got a cube that's all messed up like this, it'll take you through, and it'll take you through all the steps to solve your cube and put it all back together just like it's supposed to be. That was a little bit of a magic trick, but if I wanted to do it properly, mix it up properly, and I wanted to solve the cube properly, that's what I'm going to do right now, by the way, in case you're wondering. And I'm obviously not. This is a properly mixed up cube. You just have to take my word for it. Not least because I'm actually going to do it in the way that it's supposed to be done. So I'm going to pick the red side. I'm going to learn how to do this. I can't remember what the colour sequences are. That's right. Red. That is the white one goes there. The blue one goes there. So I've done the cross on the top. This is the corners. Starting to put the corners together. There's a yellow one. The yellow one goes here. Maybe that's the trick for this is actually to say to people, what side would you like me to solve first? And then work from there. So that's the red side, all the colours around the outside. And then I've got to do the second layer down here, which is that one there. That's green and white done. See, so there is a process for learning how to do this. And that is findyourfire.co.uk/solve the cube, and you will learn how to solve the cube. Because why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't I want to do that with somebody? Why wouldn't I want to help somebody to solve their cube? And you don't have to worry about messing it up, because once you know how to do it, it's easy to put it all back together the way it's supposed to be done. It's supposed to look, rather. Yep. And as you can see, I'm not sure if I did that right. Ooh, I think I made a mistake there. Nope, did it right. Yay. Now I've got the cross on the bottom. So I did the second layer, by the way. I've done the cross on the bottom, and all the colours line up around the outside. And now we've got to do, that's annoying. This is one of those, I've forgotten. Oh, it's interesting. This is one of the hardest to solve kind of situations I think I've ever seen on the cube. That is okay. I still know how to do it. I just wanted to do it quickly, and I can't really do it quickly. So there you go. So I've got one corner done, and now I've got to push that one other corner into the side. So now we've got two corners done, and then we just got these last two corners to do down here. So again, do the little twists, and you kind of know what you're doing, and you can see, hey, I'm not even looking at the cube now, but I have finished the cube because I kind of knew how all the moves were, done it enough times, learned how to do it. Now I can do it every single time without even having to think about it or worry about it. And this all came about because I saw an episode of The Apprentice once on TV, and the guy said he could solve a Rubik's Cube in 3 minutes. And the guy interviewing him took out a mixed up Rubik's Cube and then showed me. And he couldn't do it. So he put something on his CV that he actually couldn't do, or he hadn't made sure that he could do if he was going to put it on a CV. Because he thought it was cool, and he obviously did it in the past. And he probably could do it, but under pressure, he couldn't do it. And I said to myself, I want to be able to say that, but I never want to be able to put under pressure so much pressure that I can't do it. So I would never say I can do it in 60 seconds. I sometimes will say to people I can do it in about 60 seconds. But then I'll usually just give myself a bit of extra time, because I'll say, but if in 90 seconds, I can actually show you what I'm doing, and I can talk you through what I'm doing. And so I'd much rather do it in 90 seconds so you can actually see what I'm doing, rather than me just trying to do it in 60 seconds as fast as I can. And then that gives me the scope and the space to be able to do it comfortably and relaxed without any worries, talk it through what I'm doing, which is actually more impressive, to be honest, when I'm talking it through and I'm looking at the person and explaining what I'm doing and pointing at it. Actually slightly more impressive than just solving the cube straight away. So anyway, right, so there you go. That was me talking about how not to beat yourself up. And actually, halfway through that, I'm not sure if you spotted it, but I thought I'd messed it up. I thought I'd done a wrong turn, and it turns out I hadn't. And I could have beaten myself up there at that point, because if I had done a wrong turn and messed it all up, I would have just gone, oh God, I've messed it all up. How can I? Oh, what an idiot! I could say, well, what an idiot for messing it all up. Or, which is what I would actually do in real life, is I would just go, oh well, I'm just going to have to take a little bit longer. I made a mistake, but that's okay. I know how to solve the cube. I know how it all works. So I can put it back together, and I can fix it in the proper way. I can just focus a little bit more for a few seconds more to make sure I don't make the same mistake again, and then it'll be fine after that. That's it. Do not beat yourself up. There is no point in beating yourself up. Stop it. Just stop it. Forgive yourself. Love yourself. Be kind to yourself. Take control of your future past. That's all from me. Take care. Love you all. Bye for now. See you next Monday. Bye.